Hush, little baby, breathing so calm. He'll protect us all and keep us from harm. Hush, little baby, still and serene. You are a Muslim, Islam's your deen. Hush, little baby, pure and small.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Dear audience and viewers and students everywhere, we are continuing our discussion of the previous episodes, how to make teaching Quran effective. But today, although we are going to discuss the same topic, we are going to find a link between it and between the qualities of good teaching. We'll try to see where it fits in these points that we have studied together. Is it related to them or not? Or is it something in isolation? Now let's see how it fits. Can I see the model of the fish or the flower? Okay, the flower. Okay, now I want you to think to help me reaching this. Now we have, you remember that effective teaching, we erased this effective teaching yesterday? We said that in the middle, what would we put?
Lesson plan.
Planning, lesson planning. Okay, good. So lesson planning here, right. Okay, do you think lesson planning is related to what we have done today? Yes, it's all of it is about planning. Yes, you have to plan these steps before. You have to plan and prepare the objects and the pictures that you need. You have even to rehearse it yourself at home or somewhere else. So when you act it, you do it correctly. So planning is something very important here. What else? Where else it fits? Okay. Do you think that interactivity, was it interactive? Yes. Yes, it was interactive. We're repeating together. Sometimes you're saying it without me. You're saying it under prompts. Sometimes as individuals, you were saying it, right? Okay. What else? High expectations. Do you think that it was put on high expectations? I expected you to memorize or to learn 10 verses even without knowing Arabic. Was it high expectation? Did you find it difficult from the beginning? Yes, from the beginning. In the beginning it was difficult, but after we finished, it became easy. So the expectations were high, and we encouraged each other to reach this level. Right? Please, feel free to interrupt me at any time. Yes.
Wide variety of teaching methods.
Okay, you're jumping into a new one. Okay, so that you're going to comment on the same one. Let's see here, right, a wide variety of teaching, different teaching methods. Do you think that this method is a little bit new? Yes. There is no set of teaching methods. You can invent any method. You can think of any method. Nothing succeeds like success. So if a method succeeds, so it is a successful method. Okay? So the teaching methods are not what is written in the book that all the time we see them, lecturing and discussion. And no, you can do anyway. You can add anything to it. If you are conservative and you don't want to call it method, call it technique, right? Call it strategy. Okay. So how about questioning strategy? Did we do any questioning strategy? What was the questioning strategy that I used?
You asked us to read that sample thing on the blank paper in the reverse order.
Yeah, this is a questioning strategy. Another questioning strategy, I used to ask you to check your understanding from time to time. What is meant by this? Right? To ensure that the students understand. Okay. Engaging all the students. Did we engage all the students? Yes. Good. Good teaching? Yes. Good teaching, yes. Okay. Individual differences. We do something related to individual differences, you think? Yes, when some students made some mistakes, we give them opportunity to repeat. And not only that, we ask all of you to do the repetition. Yeah. Did you feel, although you are different, you have different backgrounds in Qur'an, do you feel that you achieved the maximum that you can achieve from the lesson? All of you, although you have different levels. So don't think that the students who are low achievers are always low achievers. Right? They jump from time to time. Yeah, you can feel it. Okay. A balance between individual work and group work. Did we do that? Yes, we did. We asked you to repeat in course, and we asked you to say individually. Balance between them. Okay, good. Distributive focus, did we make any distributive focus? Give me. We focused on memorization, we focused on understanding, so some sort of concept and knowledge, all right? The knowledge is in the information and the skill of memorization, sort of. So we did, depending on the nature of the lesson itself. And here, effective use of resources. Do you think that we use the resources that we have effectively? Yes. Even we used blank papers. Anyway, you can use anything that you have. The links, did we make any link? Remind me if we did.
Yes, you, while teaching the lesson, you also spoke about your own personal
Yeah,
experience
I
about
talked
the
about
girl.
some personal experience in my life. And this, the purpose of it was to encourage you to tell me something about your personal experience or some people in your family. Yes, and I think, did you think that you mentioned something about your learning experience? You told me that the way you learned is something and you're going to change it to it. Yes, so we got some of it. We got some. By the way, it's almost impossible to put all these together in one lesson unless you want to kill yourself in 2 days. It's something, some techniques, even we didn't mention all of them, but still you can do most of them. And you feel that the class was interactive, nobody was about to sleep. Yes, I know you wanted to, but the nature of the activity did not allow you to do this. Okay, what else would you comment here?
We linked it with the pictures.
Link the pictures, right,
shams
with the
sun.
text.
Yeah, with the text.
Yes, so it was easier. Was shams. There's a difference between a shams means the sun, right? And now you are really linking it with the real sun, a picture of the sun. Okay, what else have you seen?
Point related to high expectations. Point related to high, because you related a personal experience when
Yeah.
you set the bar that there was a girl who was 7.5 years old, and when she could memorize it,
Yeah.
we feel like even we can do it. I mean, the other students can get a
Yeah.
ballpark figure of what to
Yes.
do.
There is always a room for raising the bar. Always. Every day you can push. So whatever standards that you used to, be sure that you can push them up. And that's what we're doing. Because if you are not doing it, there are many other people are doing it. Many other people in the world are doing it. So you are walking and they are running. You have to understand this. This is one of the challenges for us as educators. If you accept to be an educator, you accept the challenge of running as long as the whole world is running. All countries in the world are running, so we have to run. So don't say that, okay, our students are okay, we're doing fine, we do this. If your students are memorizing the Qur'an in 10 years, if some other students are doing it in 8 years. That's why all the time you need to, when you visit other schools, other countries, you need to see the speed at which students are learning. Okay, good. Challenge, challenge. Never be pleased. We all the time tell the teachers, don't be pleased. Right? They all the time need to push, right? Or encourage. Yes, sister?
By preparing the lesson, we also used the theory in psychology
Yeah,
of
which one?
exposing the words many times so that the person recognize it and use it.
We use some theories and research in psychology. By having the word being repeated in many places, it becomes easier for you to remember it or to recall it.
Of course, also the link to the Sira. If we were not doing Ar-Rahman, but if we were doing Al-Fil, then we would have even learned the story behind it. So it would
Al-Fil,
link to
for
the
example,
Sira.
if we're talking
Yes.
about Surah Al-Fil, definitely you need to say the whole story about Al-Fil, yeah. And again, I wish that you can read something about this. I know it's difficult to make it, particularly for men. It is true. That's why usually our kids tend to go to our wives more than they come to us. They know how to deal with them. And I think you need to read something on the internet, the art of making stories. At least you can get some tips. This is for all of us, but particularly for men. How to make a story interesting, what elements that you can add in order to make a story is fun for and interesting for children. We'll take a break and we'll come back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Marriage is the cornerstone for a successful society. How can we maintain a successful marriage? Join us in this journey where we learn how to plan for it, execute it, maintain it, and end it according to Islam.
Grasp the unique philosophy of Islam to make marriages successful in Marriage and Divorce. Tonight at 11 p.m. and repeat telecast at 12:30 p.m. India on Peace TV.
A friendly message by Dr. Zakir. Win over your enemy.
In this age of hatred and animosity, our all-loving Creator has prescribed the formula for winning over your enemy in the glorious Qur'an, in Surah Fussilat, chapter 41, verse number 34. Nor can goodness and evil be equal. Repel evil with what is better. You will see that he with whom you had enmity will become your close friend. Do not defeat your enemies, but rather win them over. Win their hearts and win their minds.
Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome after the break. We still continue discussing this issue. And there are some points here that are raised. I'd like to hear from you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Brother, I have learned Quran through reading.
Through reading first.
And in the process of reading, there were too many rules being taught initially. And the repetition of rules took a lot of time. But till date, I feel that I'm not too confident about the rules of the Quran, because of which there are still flaws in my reading. And I feel had I been taught in the method that I learned today, inshallah, I think that would have been much better.
Jazakallah khairan. It was not very late. I think it was recent. In the last month, I visited one place in Dubai, and I talked about too much attention or focus is given to tajweed. I tried to put it as gentle as possible because I was expecting a lot of reaction. I got some little reaction from the audience, and they said that if I were you, I would focus on tafsir. I would focus on understanding. Our life is very limited, and I did not see, even Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, he was braver than other people, and that's why we love him. Yes, he said that mastering the rules of tajweed is not an obligation in Islam. Yes, it is, and I say that. I say that. Mastering the rules of tajweed is not an obligation on every Muslim. It's enough to know how to read correctly, yes. I don't have any evidence that the Prophet ﷺ taught the rules of tajweed. If you have the evidence, please send it to me. That he didn't teach people that it is 3 harakas or 2 harakas or 4 harakas or, yes, the Prophet ﷺ didn't do that. Or idgham bi ghunna, or, yes. There is nowhere in the history of the Prophet ﷺ that he did this. But he did teach Qur'an, and he did ask the people to repeat, right? As we have done exactly in Surah Ar-Rahman, without telling you that this as-sama should be extended a specific number of, right, prolongation. So he didn't say the rule, but he asked the companions to follow him, to imitate him. You see the difference? There is a difference between knowing the rule and doing it as the Prophet ﷺ did it. You can do it as the Prophet ﷺ did it without knowing the rule, and your salat is accepted. And I was lucky when I finished my lecture. After 2 weeks, when I finished my lecture, I found an article from one of my students in America, She sent me this article and it was amazing. She said that another brave person somewhere in the world wrote this, the trap of tajweed. The trap of tajweed. A lot of people fall into this trap. I think, yes, they do. Not everyone would be a teacher of tajweed. A teacher of tajweed, definitely he needs to know all the rules of tajweed to master them. But not everyone, okay. For example, do you think that Dr. Zakir Naik, when he recites the Qur'an on the stage, does he follow the rules of tajweed? No, he does not, right? And many other people and many other speakers, because it's not their job to teach tajweed. If their job is to teach tajweed, they do that. So we need, I would advise people don't spend much time, and the sister said that she spent much time on the rules, and I think this is not an effective use of our life. Our life is limited. So it's either you spend 200 hours to master the science of tajweed, or to spend the same 200 hours in understanding, let's say, 50 pages of the Qur'an. I think the second option is much better than the first option. We need to know how to use our time effectively. We're not going to live forever. We're going to die sooner or later. So we need to know how to use our time. This is my reflection upon this.
I have this yearning to recite the Quran well. I want to learn that.
Yeah.
So how can I improvise on my recitation of the Quran?
Do you think that you know how to recite the first 10 ayat of Ar-Rahman well? Now, is your recitation good?
Yes, yes.
Yes, this is exactly what we want from you. So if you continue doing like this, you buy this program or you access it on the internet, reciter.org, I think you will improve a lot. All of you. It's open for anyone. It's just there and you need to use it. Yes, please.
I have an objection.
Please, go ahead.
On the behalf of those who have these objections so that they can get an answer also. The people who insist that before you start learning the Quran, it is essential or obligatory that the tajweed should be corrected and it should be mastered, because many a times the meanings of the word change when you don't recite it properly or you don't utter the word properly. Like alim and alim.
Okay.
So they say that it is essential. Otherwise, we are opening the doors for too liberal way of learning or speaking about
I like the word liberal way. Okay, good. Thank you for this. There is a difference between rules of tajweed and there is a difference between pronouncing the sounds clearly. What you're talking about is pronouncing the sounds clearly. When you pronounce the sounds clearly, the Arabs pronounce them clearly. What is missing for the Arabs is the rules of tajweed. So they're two different things. But unfortunately, yes, when the people who authored this science of tajweed, they began, of course, from zero level, and they started to add something from here, and they added the sifat al-huruf wal-makharij, right? They added it to this. It doesn't belong to this. For a non-native speaker, they classified it here. It belongs to Arabic. It does not belong to the tajweed. So pronouncing sounds correctly belongs to the Arabic speaking. And if you learn Arabic well, if you know how to pronounce it well, yes, that's fine. But this has nothing to do with the rule of tajweed. Because all the Arabs pronounce, assumingly that they pronounce their letters correctly, right? The problem is that when they know and they don't do it, like the Egyptians, for example, they pronounce the the. Yes, and they have many problems with this. And this is where the responsibility in front of Allah is. They have the capacity to do it, but they don't do it because the effect of the habits and the customs on them. I definitely encourage all of you to try to work on improving your pronunciation of the sounds. And these apply to Arabic and to apply to Quran. Quranic is an Arabic book. Yeah. So you need some time to work on, to pronounce the ayn, to pronounce the kha, to pronounce the qa. Yes, it takes some time. It takes some practice to do this. Thank you for your challenging question. Jazakallahu khair. We need to open this issue. Yes.
Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh, for this quote. This also reminds me of those sisters or brothers who are illiterate, who especially live in rural areas where they have never been to a school. So they, English or Arabic subject, so they have a fear that I have not even gone to a school. How will I be able to memorize a Quran?
Yeah.
So they don't need to go to the words for the beginner,
Yeah.
at least for the beginning. Inshallah, they can practice this
Very good.
by just audio. And inshallah, it's
I
really
proved
opened
to
up the
you,
doors.
I proved to you today that you can memorize without seeing the text. You already memorized the first 10 ayat without seeing the text. We reinforced this because this is another skill of reading. But you already memorized it. So you can do the same thing with anyone. Yeah, and the earlier, the better. If we insist as parents that we are going to do this when the children are young, it saves them lots of their time in their life. And they will be at least spending time. They would be thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making dua for you, right? Because you saved a lot of time for them. So you need to be, so at least you need to perfect it and transmit it to your kids. Transmit it to your neighbors. Transmit it to other people. Do this. Yes. Jazakumullahu khairan. Yes, please.
I just want to clarify that the sounds of the Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra, does this comes under the heading of Tajweed?
The Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra?
Yes.
No. This is Arabic language. Because when I don't use them, right, in my speech, they make difference in the meaning, as you said, the function of the word. So it applies to Arabic. It's not just to Islam. This is the nature of Arabic language. These are vowels. This is the vowel system in Arabic.
So
your vowel system, and this is something unique about Arabic. Yes, you can write the word without any vowel, without any short vowel.
Sheikh, I get from your point that we need to learn the language rather than stressing on the tajweed.
Yes.
Because in India,
you learn the language to understand.
Because according to us, like we used to, in the childhood, we were taught like alif, kasra, a. It's actually not a, it's e. Right now, through tajweed, we came to know this.
I think when I was exposed to this, and some people say that alif, kasra, a, and alif, fatha, b, whatever, said that this method was used at the time of perhaps Prophet Noah, alayhi salam. It's very, very time consuming. But this is what was available in the past. Now I think at least you got one new way of learning the Quran. Even by yourself you can learn this. Listening to this as much as you, repeating it, listening to it first, and said that this is how you can design any program done in computer. The engineers did a very good job in this. You can use this, just use it. You can teach yourself, and you will find the translation in front of you. So it keep the meaning. It's just knowing how to use the software and having the time to do it. Don't let your time pass. By this age, I think we need it, all of us, so that we can help our children. Good.
I have a question. What does tajweed exactly mean? I mean, I used to think that pronunciation means tajweed.
This is very good. The meaning of the word tajweed, from jawwada, right? It means beautifying. It means beautifying your recitation, making it beautiful. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said that لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ جَوَّدَ الْقُرْآنِ. He does not belong to us, is the one who does not try to beautify the Quran. Including beautification is beautifying your voice itself. When you read the Quran, try to use a tone that is very tender, that's very soft, right? Bilal ibn Rabah was selected to make the adhan. It may be quite obvious that for many reasons, but one reason that he probably have a soft voice that affects people. And this should be something really that we should work hard on it. When we appoint our imams, it's not necessary that the imam would have a beautiful voice for whatever reason, right? But if they have the option to have one with beautiful voice and the one who doesn't have a beautiful voice, we would prefer the one with beautiful voice. And the adhan as well. Sometimes you hear the adhan, it doesn't differ from the crow of the crows. And it does. It's really like that. Yeah, and I think this it's our job because I work in a place that most of the people that I work with are foreigners. They are not Muslims. They are so touched by the adhan. And one of them used to cry. She doesn't understand anything about what is said in the adhan. Just she cries because of the beauty of the voice. So this is part of our thing of tajweed, beautifying your voice, making it tender when you read it. Okay. The time is over. Perhaps we'd have another episode to discuss issues. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Little baby, pure and small, He created you, He created us all. Hush, little baby, don't you fear, we're never alone when Allah's so near.